Kono na kuimsa bazanga koe akuyamba baba na wako wakutuza nziza kwebazawo bangwite kusima eli abaline emitima egirumirirwa bazanga koe akuyamba baba na wako wakutuza ekigambo okuyamba tokizanyisa bangi babeera n'obusobozi n'ekibalema okukola bazanga koe akuyamba baba na wako wakutuza abamu bemulaba abanene munsi muno bakunyumiza gyavudde zikuba munezaaka bazanga koe akuyamba baba nabako wakutuusa abangi kwabo bafiirwako abazadde ku myaka emimpi ddala wamma tunuulira obulumi bazanga koe akuyamba baba nabako wakutuusa abalala basalawo n'okuddukira ku nguudo kubanga basigalawo okubayamba ababeesamba bazanga koe akuyamba baba namwe abayamba mumanyi okwefuula eryabo be muyambye ne mubasimbamu oluseke eriyo ne benda byabalaga okulumirirwa ne bajja ng'abayamba nga beenoonyeza byabwe
Oh yes, a good evening to our viewers on the African Reports with a theme of sharing is caring. Yes, we're back again with the African Reports political lenses. Yes, and this time around, we're just going to go into the crosswinds of change and just looking into the 360 of the political tensions and electoral dynamics in Tanzania, Cameroon, basically what's really happening in Sudan, and then also look at the highlights, basically what's really happening in Uganda in the campaign trail. But yes, we can't leave also the issue of the floods which are happening in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, untouched, and then also the hurricane of Jamaica, which really created a disaster. And I guess for this country economically to gain back its muscle, it's really going to take a lot of time, a lot of years to gain its economic muscle, mostly in terms of tourism. But like I said, it's the African Reports political lenses, and then your host tonight is aka Smoggy John Remy. Yes, day today is just the 2nd of November. Yes, and happy new month of October. And those who are having birthdays on the 2nd, I'll say viva, viva, happy birthday to you. And those who have encountered some challenges, we are with you at heart. Yes, you aren't born like that. Today, situation is like this, but tomorrow, everything will change. But like I said, we're going into the Afroden Reports political lenses, and allow me to introduce my guest, how is analytical, and he's always looking at things in a different lens, and at least the people I always bring here, they're really worth it. Allow me to welcome Bwana Eddie Cool Ngovi, a man from the Busoga region, yet is diverse when it comes to issues connected to politics. We may say it's political, but most of the times it's not. He's just a man who is an open space. He likes to look at all issues in their own different capacities. But once again, Eddie Cool, you're welcome on the African Reports. Just say hello to our viewers, and then we see how we're going to take this unnotified show.
Oh, thank you, Afroden, for hosting me tonight, and thank you for the good work you are doing in promoting the the social development of our mother Uganda, enlightening our people on their basic rights and other economical uh, activities that could benefit their lives, and also to updating our people on what is going on in the world. Um, thank you so much. I want to pass condolences and a word of support to the people of Jamaica who have lost their lives in that natural disaster. Natural disasters have been happening nearly everywhere over the world. I also pass my support and sorrowful message to the condolence message to the people in Uganda who have gone through a lot, who have lost their loved ones in such kind of instances. Some of them could have been unavoidable. I also have feel sorry for the people in Kampala and especially on, those on Nakivubo channel who have lost billions of their money, their property, and at such a time when the country is economically hit. Also, my sympathy and the support goes to my brothers and sisters in Tanzania who are undergoing a very chaotic electoral period. So many people have died in Tanzania, and more are still dying just because of the leaders we have who think to them it's either them or nothing. It has happened is also in Cameroon. 90-year plus old man still wants to lead the country as if he has nothing else to live for in his life. You know.
It's true.
Then we also have people in Uganda who are undergoing also in politics, uh, whereby the incumbent thinks to him they're organizing a very what they call a silly elections.
Election.
Silly elections. He's organizing his own elections to show people that look here, I'm around. You people can come around. You're wasting people's time really and money. Whereas we all know what is going to happen at the end of the day. However, who knows? It could go the Tanzanian way. You know,
It's true.
it's not going to be easy this time around. And East Africa is not going to be easy, you know. Then we also have a problem in Sudan. Our people have been dying for a very long period of time in Sudan. And unlike countries like Uganda, I don't know what is really happening in the world. In Sudan, they are all speaking Arabic. Forget about being different colors, others being, but they were speaking nearly the same language, but they are busy killing each other. Before they thought that the Muslim guy, this other guy, Bashir was the problem. But Bashir was not, right now, you look at them, Bashir is long gone. You know?
True.
But Bashir is long gone. Then when you leave that, you go to the Middle East, where Israeli thinks they are, to them, they're the only human beings in the Middle East. The others are animals, or they're meant to die. They're not meant to be there. You know?
Well, let's have some bit of sense of direction on issues you've been talking about, so that we have a clear picture by having a simple rider. But I think let's just go straight to Jamaica. Then we see exactly, some little clips of exactly what happened, and then we shall have a simple statement from Eddie Cool to give us an overview on and also a comparison between the two, what has been happening in Jamaica and slightly what has happened to Uganda, where natural disasters have claimed lives and property of people. But let's have a little clip of this.
In Jamaica, the Category 5 storm caused massive amounts of damage, bringing heavy winds and rain and winds, of over 180 miles per hour to the island. The aftermath is just devastating. You see the picture there on your screen. At least 24 people have died. Another 500,000 are now without power. Streets are filled with debris, many homes beyond repair. U.S. forecaster AccuWeather estimated $50 billion in damage in economic loss. And lines in Monaco Bay were out of the door for clean water and cash, as many people in Jamaica have been without clean water for days. Well, one Macon restaurant owner is stepping up for 2 communities in need.
This is great news, and I want to just send a signal of reassurance and confidence to the people of Jamaica, some of who feel that nothing is happening. It's been 24 hours, 36 hours since the hurricane. So we are moving as fast as possible, but obviously logistics are always a challenge in the height and aftermath of a disaster.
Residents were forced to dig their possessions from the dirt after deadly mudslides swept through the Bukwo and Queen districts of eastern Uganda. 6 members of a single family were among those confirmed dead after a night of heavy rainfall pounded the Sebe sub-region on Wednesday. Judith Chilangat is a local chief.
Around 3 a.m. is when I received the call that, Chief, you are sleeping. All the people of Captain Village, almost all of them are dead. Just wake up and come for rescue.
Red Cross official Moses Checho helped local residents and authorities to recover the victims.
We came, we found the mud was all over the place. There was no house seen, so we tried to push the mud to look for the bodies inside the house. So we found the bodies after a long struggle. We removed the bodies from inside the mud.
In another landslide in a neighbouring district, 3 children were buried when mud covered their home. The downpour also disrupted transport, making roadways treacherous and burying a bridge under mud and debris washed down by floodwaters. And continuous rainfall has hampered response operations.
Business activities in the central business district Kampala came to a standstill, with people using buckets to scoop water out of their shops. A variety of items, including mattresses, clothes, shoes, among others, were all submerged in water. Many traders looked helpless and resigned to fate.
Our capital, and it is a bit sad, and the reason why it's about like the channel that was constructed, it lacks plan. What has been flooding, All the nearest buildings have been flooded. Pentagon, Nabokeda, French Plaza, and it is a pity. We have lost around 100 M and plus, as you can see.
Katufiiriddwa nnyo ate nga tukyafiirwa ebintu byonna ng'edduuka bwe libadde lyeryo erijjudde amazzi ne galibika libaddemu ebintu byonna domati nsawo ngatto ng'ez'abaana buli kimu.
The traders blamed the ongoing construction of shops on Nachivobo Channel by Ham Enterprises Limited.
Omuntu omu abonyaabonye eggwanga lino Ham bintu si birungi mbeera si nnungi jangu otunula ebintu byaffe amaduuka gonna gaweddewo olw'omuntu omu ali mu kuzimba ku mwala.
Hamu lekerawo okuzimba. President Museveni stopping Hamu alekerawo okuzimba. Buli wazimba ffe twongera kulumwa. Amazzi gayingidde mu maduuka gaffe tetulina we tutandikira.
Yes, that was exactly what we're trying to echo out when it comes to exactly what's happening to Uganda, and then aligning it with what's really happening to Jamaica. Yes, to many, they claim Jamaica, it's a natural disaster, which you can't, it just came, and then there's no way you can avoid it. But when it comes to Uganda, I'll use the lines of Eddie Cool that this is man-made disaster. So, Bana Eddie Cool, just give us a statement before we cross over into the political lenses. Sebu, as you compare the two situations,
it's very unfortunate. When I look at the Jamaicans, it was unavoidable for Jamaica, that catastrophe. Call it a natural one. So very unavoidable. But for Uganda's case, most of them really, they are avoidable. They are man-made. It's because of negligence. It's because of poor leadership. Now, you can't blame now. Look at what is going on in Kampala. Let me tell you this. When I was a little boy, a teen, we used to move around places recklessly. We were staying in Kololo, so we would move from Kololo to come and go to golf course, move around. Golf course, that was also drainage for Kampala.
Oh, true, that's true.
But right now, you find there are hotels. There's Garden City and so many other buildings. That's a wetland. They constructed in a wetland. But who did that? Who did that? Who did that? It's the government. The people in government, people in power. Now, and they don't care. To them, it's as if I really don't know what is happening with our leaders, because they are not. And when I talk about leaders, I'm talking about Museveni and his group, because ever since Museveni came, the man is leading the country as if he doesn't care. No wonder some people say he's a foreigner, because he doesn't care. He loses nothing in everything he does, because if you love something, you handle it with care.
That's true, yeah.
But there's been a lot of destruction in the country, especially when it comes to the environment. Namanve has been destroyed. Namanve is a wetland. You leave Jinja, where the industrial city or town of the East Africa, and then you take this. You go and construct industries in a wetland. What explains that? Is it stupidity? Is it destruction? What logic? I don't know which word logically. If you look at it logically, there was already a set up structure. Jinja was the industrial hub of East and Central Africa, by the way. And there were also some other towns, Tororo, we had the Kasese, we had Arua, some other Soroti, some other towns where you could expand and Mbale and expand and put industries. But you can't take industries and put them in Kampala. and you're putting them in a wetland. You know, Jinja has a lot of land for expansion, for industries. They're there, you know. But right now, see what is happening. The floods in Kampala. One time I talked to the late General, Major General, was it General, whatever, Biraro.
Biraro, yeah, no.
We happened, because we happened sometime, I knew him, we used to play darts together. So we were friends. So we happened to sit and talk about Kampala. Why is Kampala congested? Why about the floods and whatever. Then I explained, I told him, look here, Kampala is congested because somebody wants it to be congested. You know, if they had not killed the industries in Soroti, they had not killed the industries in Mbale, they had not killed the industries in Kasese, they had not killed the industries in Jinja, people would be running to Jinja to go and work.
It's true.
And they would even have jobs. Our wetlands would be very, very okay. But here we have a president who even gives away forests. They have given, yes, he gives away forests, rainforests. He gives them away to Chinese, that investors. But these are things he made there. You know. Now, what explains the floods that is taking place? It's a bogus situation in Nachivobo. In fact, it's criminal. These people should take the government to court for compensation. You know, these people, the law, the law is on their side. One, there was no due diligence done for the construction of for whatever
the natural channel,
And by the way, it was not meant to be harmed to do that. It's the government who is meant to do that. So these people must go and sue the government. You know, they must go and sue the government because they've lost a lot of money, quite a lot of money. This is a man-made catastrophe from the government. And now here, tell me, really, if I go a little bit political, are those the gains that people are meant to protect? Or
unfortunately, this time around, they're not protected.
Or should we talk about liberation to liberate ourselves from such kind of disasters? You know, you now, how would you convince a person going through that to vote you, that to protect the gains? What gains now? You know, now it's very painful that this is a public land, but it's just being given away unscrupulously. How did that land? How did it end up in Ham's hands? How? And who is Ham anyway? Where did he come from? You know, who is he? Where did he come from? Where is his source of income? Where is his source of wealth? Has he had an industry where he's made money? How has he amassed all this kind of money to do whatever he's doing in Kampala? He took over Nakivubo. Yes. No, Nakivubo Stadium, which was called Nakivubo War Memorial 2 Stadium. It was a war memorial. It has
for the veterans.
Yes, it has an history, but that history has been destroyed. It's now called Hamza Stadium. How? How did that happen? You know, and those are the gains would have protected. They've destroyed them. Now, for the disaster that has happened to the people in Chikubo, in Kampala, by the way, I was like laughing. Because why should I laugh? I'm laughing with the pain. I'm laughing with the tears flowing. You know why? The people in Nachivubo, or the people, the business community in Kampala, when we talk about these things, they don't want to join us to talk about them. They look at us as people who want to bring trouble in the country. They look at us as people who don't want development. But development, what kind of development? Development must be structured. But now, right now, see what is happening to them. Now they are making noise. Politicians and we activists, let's also sit and look at them. Because when we come out and demonstrate and say, look here, enough is enough, this can't happen. Lukwago was fighting, telling people, this is wrong. We are going to have a problem. But Lukwago was a lonely man. Some other politicians also came up. Some other activists came up and said, this is wrong. But there is this thing that we always fight in government. We're not fighting government. We are fighting the bad things that they are doing.
Or creating more awareness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now, if the people in Ichkubo, if the people downtown in Kampala had joined us and said, no, this is not going to happen, they would have saved a lot. But now,
actually, we wouldn't have claimed those 4 people who died actually in the floods.
The people died, but do you know how much money has been lost there? Some people don't take their money to the bank. They leave them in their shops. I saw this chairman of Kasita. He was crying, addressing people while crying. That old man crying, a very strong man. He was not crying because he was crying for the people. What has befallen the Ugandans? What has befallen the traders? Harm. Who is harm? Who goes and gets anything that he wants? Soldiers are busy guarding him. If he was doing the right thing, why should the soldiers guard him? These things have been there for over years. We've had so many other presidents who have come. We've had so many other mayors, leaders in Kampala. They've not been tampering. They've been looking at how they are going to handle it and handle it in a structured manner. There is no, I don't see a professional engineers working on such a place, not taking into account the disaster that would befell on whatever they are doing. No. I don't think they did due diligence. And what Ham is doing is not the art impression that he put around. He's putting on arcades. Arcades. So he's getting free land at the expense of other people. And he's going to rent out those arcades to the people. And I understand already some people have paid 50 millions for some shops.
But Bwana Eddie, all has happened. I'm this kind of person who believes in the way forward. This has happened. We've lost property. The floods claimed the lives of people, which actually there are around 4, if not 5. But what's the way forward? What can we do? Which remedies can we do? And try to also align this to what has been happening in Jamaica. But for example, right now we have the Ministry of Disaster and Preparedness in Uganda. What else can they do, at least to do in the compensation of what's really happening?
Now, most ministries in Uganda, we have them on paper.
Hey.
Everything is done in State House. These guys have their offices. They just given papers to sign, documents to sign. They can't work on any policy document. They can't present a policy document by themselves. So if you say we have a Ministry of Disaster, no, we have State House. That is all we have. That's where everything is done. Because if we had a Minister for Disaster, that ministry would have come in place even before sensing something wrong was going to happen. They would have come, they would have been listened to. They would have had a word, which didn't happen. You know, right now, for Uganda, what can take place is a change of government. Let Ugandans liberate themselves, because nothing good is going to come out of it anyway. They're not going to change. They are doing one thing after the other, and it's building on, building on, building on, building on. Everything's being destroyed. Schools have been destroyed. One Shimoni demonstration school, it was in the heart of Kampala. That land was sold away. It's now being owned by Sudil. Sudil has constructed their offices, which offices are being rented by government, paying exorbitantly a lot of money. What an irony.
Yes, and then what can be done right now in Jamaica? How can we help? What should the world do right now?
No, we have to pray for Jamaica, and the world should give in everything that they can in terms of relief, so that Jamaicans can get back to their feet. Otherwise, it's a very, very big catastrophe. It's of its kind. It reminds me one of the tsunami that happened in where? Tsunami in Japan. Was Japan? Yeah. Japan tsunami. So it happened, the tsunami, and then we have these ones which are always happening in the US, in California. In Texas, they're really happening, and but that's nature. This is why there's been a lot of investment into climate change, but you find some leaders like Trump who don't give who is just business minded, who does not think about tomorrow but thinks about today. He's not been able to continue the spirit of promoting climate change. So yeah, we need to these things need to be promoted, but with the leaders like Trump, we have a problem. You see, we have a very big problem. You can't have can't have leaders like Museveni, and then you think you'll have something that is stable, because these are people who are really thinking differently. They don't think about the future. They think about what is there right now.
Yes, away from that, at least we're picking some notes from Bwana Edi Cool. And then to the viewers, you can always leave a comment. What can we do? What can we do when it comes to the floods which are really happening in Kampala? And then how else can we help our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean world? That's basically the Jamaicans, on how to gain back their economic muscles. But from African reports, we just say it's really terrible, but we're at heart with them. Cross over to the political line of what's really happening in Africa. It's really also another political disaster. On the neighborhood of Uganda is just Tanzania, where a lot of drama was happening in the elections, of which it claimed the lives of people, property. Up to now, the effect is still felt, much as the president, the incumbent, the president has won with 96%. It's quite alarming. But we shall get what really Edi Cool has to say about this. But let's have a little rider on exactly what has been happening in Tanzania, and then so that we can see a bigger picture on how we can go with it. Yes, this is exactly what was really happening.
A Tanzanian election week marred with protests, destruction of property, and imposed nationwide curfew restricted access to internet, injuries, and even death. Tanzania's Electoral Commission has declared on Saturday that the leader of the Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM party, Samia Suluhu Hassan, is the winner with nearly 98% of the votes. According to the Electoral Commission, Samia Suluhu received more than 31.9 million votes, or 97.66% of the total, with the turnout nearing 87% of the country's 37.6 million registered voters.
Barred from the contest.
During the election day, the turnout appeared low, according to witnesses, with some polling stations disrupted by the protests. The military was deployed alongside the police to quell the riots in major cities. The opposition claims that at least 700 people have been killed nationwide, and the United Nations has confirmed credible reports of at least 10 deaths in 3 major cities. Outrage was sparked after 2 main opponents were blocked from contesting. Only minor opposition figures were eligible to compete against Samia Suluhu in the elections after the Independent National Electoral Commission disqualified the Chadema party in April for refusing to sign an electoral code of conduct. Chadema party leader had earlier been arrested at a rally where he called for electoral reforms and was charged with treason. The commission also barred Luhaga Mpina, the candidate for the second largest opposition party ACT Wazalendo, after an objection from the Attorney General. Samia Suluhu then became the subject of criticism, especially on social media, many branding her a dictator who is afraid of competition.
The government has been defending its response to the protests and unrest since the election. The opposition says hundreds have been killed by security services.
Navishukuru sana.
We thank the security apparatus for ensuring that all the chaos witnessed did not alter or stop the election process. The incidents experienced, especially around cities like Dar es Salaam, Arusha, Mwanza, Mbeya and Songwe, were unacceptable, uncivilized and unpatriotic. Patriots build their countries, not destroy it. The government strongly condemns these recent events.
Well, Tanzania's foreign minister has told Al Jazeera that security forces have not used excessive force. He also denied opposition claims that at least 700 people have been killed in a police crackdown. Anger against President Hassan intensified after a popular online influencer was arrested ahead of the election. Hassan ran virtually unopposed after her strongest challenger, Tundu Lissu, was arrested and charged with treason. The candidate from the second largest opposition party was also barred.
Well, credit to NTV and then Al Jazeera for this wonderful clip they've just given us, which summarizes exactly what is happening in Tanzania when we look at the tensions that have been there politically and basically into these times of elections. Yes, a lot has been distracted, property and then lives. They claim over 700 died, and then but the government of the president currently, who was just claimed the power, that's in quotes when I say claimed power again, Samai Suhuri, yes, she says there's still investigations on the numbers that really died, but lots of questions are still there, and these questions, I think they're as good as the way Mr. Eddie Cool is also having it in his mind right now. Case in point, when do we see soldiers joining, the citizens? But in Tanzania, the soldiers backed off. It's only these policemen who try to do something. But then again, many questions, they're as good as, my questions are really as good as you, the viewers. But keep on subscribing, sharing. Yes, this is Up for Den Political Lenses, and we are with the guest, Eddie Cool, who is looking at issues, but he leaves an angle where you can also leave your perception on how you look at issues. Yes, Bwana Eddie Cool, Tanzania was in a political turmoil, and then you've seen exactly what has happened. What's your take on what we're really having in Africa at large? Case in point, Tanzania.
Africa is going to implode. I'm telling you.
Do we see crosswinds of change?
Absolutely. And nobody can stop it. And you know why? Because these young men and women are tired of going to work in the Middle East to be abused. They are They've seen some of their friends trying to cross over to go to Europe or other countries. They've been dying in the Middle East. They die into the Mediterranean Sea. They die while crossing over to go to other countries. So the only option they are left with is to stay home. But they cannot stay home under such an environment where they don't have chances. There are no opportunities for them. These are governments who have not created opportunities for the youth.
Given the resources, there are a lot of resources we have, the minerals that they like.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Our countries are very rich. We don't see even a reason why these youths would even think of going to Europe or going anywhere else, given the resources that we have in our countries. Uganda has a lot of resources. It's a very rich country. So many resources, but you find that these resources are only benefiting a few people. You know, the documents cannot even be accessed regarding what is going on in, for example, in oil. We have gold, we have uranium, we have diamond, we have quite a number of things. You see the roads in Karamoja, but Karamoja has oil and has gold. But see the roads there. The only place that was developed or they're developing is the Kabare. No, it's in Hoima, where there is oil as well. You know, now they put there some roads and they put there an airport. But the airport was put there just because of the oil, to take oil money out. You know? So what is going to happen, or what is happening right now, nobody can stop it. I'm telling you. They have the army, the Ugandan army commander, whatever, CDF said, we don't play with Uganda. For us in Uganda, you don't bring that nonsense. Which nonsense is he talking about? They are the nonsense. It's them who are the nonsense. Let them stop their nonsense. Just like the way Robert Chagulanyi puts it. Let them stop their nonsense. You know? Because Ugandans are going to take them on this time around, by the way.
Very cool. Shed us some light on exactly what happened in Tanzania, and any takeaway from there. What can we learn? For example, we are going in elections, basically in 2026.
You see, in Tanzania, Tanzania itself, it has been CCM only, and other parties were suffocated. Now, people us from other areas used to think Tanzania is doing very well, not knowing other parties were strategically, yes. So it was only CCM. And the arrangement was with the CCM that one from mainland Tanzania takes in, is a leader for 10 years. Then the next is going to be from Zanzibar, from the island, for another 10 years. Now, what these people are doing, and they are not looking at, they are looking at Christian and a Muslim. Now, what is happening right now is that they want to change things to turn it into a monarchy. Actually, as we are talking, it is rumored or it is said that Kikwete is behind all this, what is going on.
You're serious?
Yes. He's behind all whatever is going on, and he wants his son to be the next president. You know? Now, how do you say organizing an election to elect a president when he's a solo candidate? There's no anybody standing against that person. On the ballot paper, there was only one Sulu. How would you do that? Now, what is happening in Tanzania is not that they lost an election. It's because they were denied the opportunity to participate into the election. You know, they were denied the opportunity to take part into the elections. Opposition leader is arrested. The one of Chadema is arrested not long ago when you are going for elections. The man who is arrested. You know, a few days the election that they're releasing him, the man said, "No, let me stay in jail. I'll come out after the elections." You know, and here this woman stands alone, and right now starts a crackdown on dissidents or protesters. And by the way, do you know Uganda sent their 500 troops that they're going to help? But they are joking because what is happening in Tanzania is going to come to Uganda. You know, what is happening in Tanzania is going to come to Uganda. It's going to come to Kenya. And these people should know, and they should appreciate one thing. One thing I do appreciate about these leaders, the so-called dictators or leaders in East Africa, they created the East African unity, whatever union. So let the Africans enjoy that union, to work together, fight together, bring peace together, do business together, and live in harmony. That solidarity is now what we want to enjoy, we, as the led in Africa. Not for them to use it. I don't know if you're getting my point. Africans right now East Africans are going to fight together. What is happening in Kenya is going to be happening in Uganda, it will happen in Tanzania, and who knows, it will go to Rwanda, Burundi.
Why do you see participation of the East African community when it comes to, catastrophes like this, political catastrophes or disasters? Case in point, how it has been the destructions that has been happening in Tanzania. Where do we see this community, the East African community, coming in?
But what those people did, it's toothless. To them, they do it just to protect themselves. Right now, they're busy talking to each other. How do we help each other? Because they fear if there's a catastrophe in the other country, it's also going to come to another country. So they need to protect it from the other side. They need to protect Suru. This is why Uganda sent troops to Tanzania to go and protect the other one. Uganda has been talking about sending troops to Kenya to go and protect Ruto. Yeah? But I don't know who is going to send troops to Uganda to protect Museveni. You know, those troops would go in the country to protect the nationals, but they go and protect the dictators. And by the way, the Tanzanian soldiers, some of them say, no, the police, they're saying, no, for us, we are with the people. They're also tired. They're also tired. You know? Now, you cannot say this was an election. No, that was not an election. It was an abuse. You know? And the Tanzanians are very angry. They are very, very vexed. They not want to listen to anything right now. They are just like wounded lions. You know? Anything that crosses their path right now, they will destroy it.
Brother Eddie, let's go into the media freedom and then information. I'm just looking at the situation of why is the correlation between elections and the internet? Case in point, it was in Tanzania where we see internet was scrapped out. A lot of NGOs were tossed out. So the environment was a little bit toxic when it comes to accessing information and media. Private institutions, media, institutions were, really locked down. And then, so my question here is, how free and diverse is the media landscape in each country, in Tanzania, or maybe case in point, what was happening in Cameroon, and how is it evolving during these campaigns?
The media. Thank you for asking that question. It's world all over. It's world all over. Media houses are only free when they praise the status quo. But when they bring out information that does not praise the status quo, they'll never be free. Does that answer your question? So they don't, it's world all over. It's not only in Tanzania, in Uganda or Kenya. You see, Trump does not want, is busy abusing all those who come and say the truth as it is. He abuses them. He calls them, he calls them so many names. You know, now in Tanzania, the media was only free when they were not reporting facts. They were reporting things that could not really excite people. You know, but right now, given that they were going to do wrong things, they did not want them to cover. That's why you see President Museveni does not want any TV and the monitor, the whatever, to cover. And by the way, there is something more to that. It's not only that. Can I say something here?
Please.
Do you know why the NTV and whatever monitor, they don't like them? There is some...
Due to their slogan, telling, giving the truth.
Oh, there is more. Now, they called all these media... Somebody, the CDF called all these media, the son of the president called all these media houses. Do you remember sometime back? He instructed them on how to do things. NMG refused. They said, no, for us, we don't do things that way. They had even wanted instructing them that they are going to host him. He's going to come with his questions and his answers. They must stick to his questions and answers.
The CDF of Uganda.
Yes. And the guy, they said, no, we're not going to do that. They said, no, we're not going to do that. Others were being told what to do. And those who were being told what to do, who accepted to toe the line, those are the ones who are being allowed to cover. And now here is the thing. Then the NMG brings up the factory of Anita Mong in Bukedea. You know, she locks up her competitors. They are put out of the register. Monitor was busy reporting. NTV was busy reporting everything. They even reported what happened at the nomination center. You know, and then they showed a video clip, I don't know where they got it from, showing the jubilation, celebrations, Anita Mong, there was Chris Obore kissing her, and the others. It was frenzy. So she was like, oh. She told them, don't come to parliament. After all, the big man refused you to cover him. Let's also take that line to stop you from covering parliament. This is why you see they asked in parliament, asked them why was NTV and Monitor refused to come and cover. Nobody can own it. Nobody has an answer. Tayewa was like, you see, Parliament doesn't run in a vacuum. I say, no. We understand it doesn't run in a vacuum, but we want to know what happened. You see, there are so many other media houses that are reporting whatever is happening, and if MG wants to report, they can get footers from it. Say, no, we want to know why. You see, there is a case, the investigations are going on. Investigating what? He couldn't answer. He couldn't say anything because he was also the beneficiary of the fact that in Matoma, whereby he comes out as an independent, as unopposed. So the media is media freedom is threatened, and especially right now. And now, as you rightly asked, why the internet was switched off in Tanzania, why the media was not, it's because they don't want information to be shared. Because when people get that information, they could react collectively. They could respond collectively. If people
Is
know,
social media a threat, really, when it comes to election processes?
social media is a threat to dictators, to thieves, to thugs, to mafia cartels, you know, not only elections, yeah, but to mafia cartels, thugs, whatever. You saw this murder, call it murder. They arrested a guy somewhere in Kasese, Kisoro, I don't know, Butoro. They arrest the man. The man puts up his hands, is kneeling down, is telling them, trying to explain. Then somebody shoots him at close range instead of arresting this person. But the image that came out did not come out from
the mainstream media.
Yeah, mainstream media. It came from social media.
Social media.
Yeah, so social media is doing a lot, is disseminating a lot of information. You know, so so this is why you see they will look, they want to ask to do things in darkness, because you will not know, you will only realize things are gone. Now, for example, in Uganda, nobody is reporting about oil and gold, but is it Uganda selling oil? Is it Uganda selling gold? But who is talking about it? You know, they're making money. Money from taxes is being taken and spent. Is there anybody telling you where money is being spent?
Edikul, try to compare and give a comparison between the armed forces of Uganda, a participation in election, and as compared to what was happening in Tanzania. Or the armed forces, the army, which was
Tanzania is a little bit different, though. Uganda is a military government. There's no question about it. It's a military government in Uganda. You know, it's a military government. Tanzania is not a military government. You know, though the person who's been leading Tanzania is a dictator. That's the difference. So the way the Tanzanian military has responded, it has responded just because it's it's to serve the nation, not to serve an individual. So that is the difference between Uganda and Tanzania. In Uganda, the army is a personal army to serve somebody, to go on somebody's whims, not to serve the nation. So that's the difference. And Robert Kyagulanyi has been going on and telling people about it. There is another presidential hopeful. I forget his name. He stood last time, but I forget his name. Try and remind me.
Which one?
He stood with the Chalia last time. There's this man. What's his name? Either with the Chalia. Oh, not with the Chalia.
The one who had a corrupt. They used to move with the Chalia together.
Yes. What's his name?
Yeah, the name is going. I've forgotten the name.
I'm forgetting this name. This man, people are not covering him, but he has a very strong message, and his message is in collaboration with what Kyagulanyi is talking about. How I wish these two were campaigning together. This man is telling Ugandans that you people, Ugandans, wake up. These people we have a military dictatorship which has been around for 40 years now. And he's telling the Ugandans that we are fearing these people, but they cannot do anything. We can manage them. He told us Uganda's army is only 50,000. The police is 60. And then plus some others, he summed it up to 200. And he said we have 50 million Ugandans. How can only I had when I heard this man say that, then it resonates to what Chamberlain is telling people. He's telling them, people, let's wake up. Let's liberate ourselves. Because this is not going to be an election. No, just as it was in Tanzania. This is why you see they brought in these so-called biometrics at a very later stage, at a very late stage. There's no civic education. So Ugandans that don't know anything about this metric, whatever. There is no voters register that the Electoral Commission has shared with the presidential hopefuls. It's not there. Now, what are they going to do? Which register are they going to use? If Yabakama has no voters register, who has it?
Should now claim it in the State House.
And by the way, exactly. And by the way, right now, everything is done in somewhere else. This one is on orders. They just
yes. Eddie, drive us back to the crosswinds of change. Yes, we're talking about the changes, what are really happening, and this time around, when you look at issues, you see that it's the juvenile or the ones we call the Jezis that are really taking the drive when it comes to this political, the waves of change. What barriers do you think these young people, the juvenile, really face in this political participation, and how are they addressing? How can we address this? Case in point, you've been seeing what has been happening in Tanzania. It's the youth actually who are causing all this to happen.
But I told you that, and I've been telling you, it's because there are no opportunities for them. They've suffocated the growth, expansion, economical growth for the societies. The schools, the education we are getting is very useless. It's not giving us to move on, to be able to empower, to be able to be empowered. Now the youth are they're jobless. They're not jobs, so they are suffering. You see, now they're not breathing. The youth are not breathing. The message that is coming up is, though they're saying, is we are not breathing. We want to breathe. We want to breathe.
So basically, elections and whatever was happening in Tanzania was just a message, not election.
No. Elections in Tanzania. There was no elections in Tanzania.
Anyway, let's cross over to what has been happening in Cameroon, where Paul Biya also managed to gain back his presidency, and the man of 92 years. Yes, I guess by the end of his term, he'll be 99, clocking almost to 100. Based on whatever happened, what's your take on the political tensions and elections that really happened in Cameroon, and try to reflect, will it be of an impact to Africa at large?
No, the wave is not going to stop. Biya is the Biya man. There is a vegetarian. The guy is a veg. He cannot even reason. He doesn't know what is going on. But there is a cartel around there that is running things. That's how it is. Do you think Museveni would really want to stand right now as president? Ask yourself that question. That man has a lot. He would go and enjoy himself. He's a lifeist as well. He would want to go and enjoy with his grandchildren. He would want to go in Raktul and stay with his cows. But he has a force behind it, and even in that force, you can even see his wife is also behind it. They are forcing him to be around. Now that is what is also happening to Biya. The other man is in vegetative situation. He doesn't know what is happening on the world. And so there is a Kaku around there which is doing things that it's Biya, because to them they are being beneficiaries, and when he leaves, they are going to lose everything. What happens like in Uganda. People like those briefcase businessmen like Sudil, like the Hamus, and so many others. Do you think Sudil will support change? Eh? Do you think Ham would support change? There is a group there in Uganda. We have millionaires in Uganda there. By the way, jobless millionaires, billionaires in Uganda. Do you think those ones support change?
Well, very cool. Let's have at least some insights from Cameroon, and then we see exactly what we're talking about. So
in
that
Cameroon,
maybe can give a briefer picture.
in Cameroon, it's the same thing. These are mafias. There's a cartel that is really is running things, you know, to keep the old man into what? Into the picture, as if it's the old man. It's not the old man. No, there are some other forces behind. And now they're also busy going. The problem is going to erupt when they start fighting each other. Who should take control? You know? But right
Eddie,
now, yes.
Let's have this little, and then we come back in full gear.
Extending President Paul Biya's rule for another 7 years has deepened tensions across Cameroon. The Constitutional Council declared the 92-year-old the winner on Monday with over 53% of the ballots. Issa Chiroma Bakari, the main challenger, insists he won the election and will not accept any other outcome, calling on his supporters to stay mobilized. Other opposition leaders say they want to see an independent investigation into the process, alleging widespread fraud, allegations the government has dismissed. Several people were killed in protests ahead of the announcement of the presidential election results. While the European Union has raised concern over the whole process, Biya's team blamed Bakari for the violence. The really bustling city of Douala remains empty. Several shops and stores are closed following weeks of protests across the country. Now, crowds of people throng the few open markets and form long queues at fuel stations, fearing potential shortages and further unrest.
I had already made some plans in advance. I bought some things for several days at home. I came just to see how things were going at the market and to complete what I needed at home.
We live day to day. If everything is paralyzed like this, where are we going? Because we have almost $1 of income per person to live a day.
For nearly 4 days, I haven't been working. You see, I'm in shorts because I got up in the morning as my child said they wanted to eat. And since we live day to day, it's only when we go out that the family gets to eat.
Yes, and for those who've just joined us, it's for the reports who are looking into the political lenses of exactly what's been happening, the crosswinds of change, yes, in the political tensions and electoral dynamics in Africa at large. And our case study has been basically Tanzania, Cameroon. We shall have some bit of reflection in Sudan, but Uganda at large also is a key, at least to give our center of focus. But Eddie Cool, like he has said, there is a cartel, at least in Cameroon, who are at least helping Paul Biya to be just a puppet so that they can gain whatever they have to gain. And my simple, query here is: does the word shame really echo in the minds of the political leaders of Africa? Shame. Eddie
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So drive us exactly in Cameroon.
But let's try and be very realistic on one hand. The problem is we've not put mechanism in Uganda, in Africa, to check excesses of leaders. If we don't put those mechanisms in place, it will never stop. It's going to come from one leader to another. I want to tell you, one time we were with a Dr. Kanokiza Vesije, and he said that if I'm given the president's leadership in Uganda right now to be the president, Uganda is going to be in very difficult times, too much trouble, problems. Because the people I have behind me, I don't have people behind me, I have wolves. And now the wolves, like you can see the Anita monks, the way how they do things. She was in the opposition by that time. Taeba was in the opposition at that time. But today they are the people who are doing very stupid things in parliament because there are no checks and balances are not there. So if we don't have institute checks and balances in Africa, then you can sympathize with the leaders as well. Because I mean, who wouldn't want to enjoy to have his family to be in leadership? We blame Museveni and so many other things. On one hand, let me say this. To me, I reach a point that I sympathize with him. He has a lot of powers, you know, and as a family man, he will employ his family. He will make his son to be the heir. It's as if right now it's a family business. You sympathize with him. But if there were laws and regulation to stop him, do you think he would have done it? No. So what we should do, not only to get Museveni or these other dictators away from power, we should strive hard to put their benchmarks, to put their checks and balances, to say, look here, there are limits. Just as it is in some other countries, they fought for those to get where they are. So Ugandans also need to fight so hard, or Africans need to fight so hard, so that we can achieve that, you know. Because without that, it doesn't matter whether it's Chagulani tomorrow. He will also employ all the people from wherever he comes from, you know, because it doesn't have, there are no checks and balances. So if we must strive so hard to put their limits to these leaders, and then things will change. And then we must also try to start loving ourselves. We, the activists, we should tell people to love their country, to know who they are. We must unite and realize that we are Ugandans. And if you are Ugandans, who is a Ugandan? You know, we have a very big problem that in Uganda, there's nothing that unites us together as Ugandans. What unites us as Ugandans? Tell me. You say you're a Ugandan. What describes you as a Ugandan?
Nationality.
The nation. One time I was flying, and we got trouble somewhere. The plane got stuck somewhere. We were delayed. We did this and that, whatever. Now we reached a particular point that we were meant to shift to get us another plane to travel. There is this man said, look here, I'm a Navy SEAL. I have to go back to the US. I'm an American. This guy said, what? He said, I'm an American. I have to go. Now, he said it with that kind of energy that he feels it, that he's an American. There is one, by that time, he said, look here, I'm a Tanzanian. By that time, sometime back, he had pride in Tanzania. He said, I'm a Tanzanian. But for you, Ugandans say, who knows you as a Ugandan? What will the Ugandan government do to rescue you anyway if you have a problem? We are just nothing. If people can disappear in a country and the country cannot even come out to explain, says, we don't know where they are. But they disappeared in your country. Like Sam Lugumia. Sam Mugumia, that man was picked up in drones. But Mugumia disappeared. You know? And we Ugandans, we are just sitting, looking on, we are going into an election. Mugumia disappeared. Not only Mugumia, we have people who disappeared during the last elections. They've never been, till today. We've never come out to demand them. You know?
Yes, Mr. Eddie. if you're a member of the African Union and you're part of the member sitting and setting proposals, what concrete policy proposals would you at least suggest to reduce the tensions and the, strengthen the credibility of elections in Africa?
Now, that one would go to first and foremost to enlighten people about what Africa is, their own country, so that they love it. They come to know that this is our country, that we must fight and protect it.
Mm-hmm.
Just as somebody would fight so hard to protect his own child. Somebody will go hungry just to protect his own child. There are some countries whereby people will fight hard and say, look here, I'm dying for my country. So we need to also be told, we need to have that pride. We need to instill pride into ourselves to come and love what is ours. And when we instill pride in what is ours, we are going to do everything in a structured manner, whereby there will be love, there will be respect, and there will be ownership. Most importantly, ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do that, you'll find that even security will be automatic. We will be our own security. In everything that we do. But if we don't do that, even if we come together and say we have an African Confederation or an African Union or whatever, United African country like what Gaddafi was talking about. We cannot achieve it if we don't really know what Africa is and who we are, to protect ourselves, to love ourselves, to own what we have. Now, if our people really treasured what they have, we wouldn't even go into things like when we go for demonstrations or like when elections are rigged or whatever. They wouldn't go into destroy things. They would just sit down and say, look here we are. We are not going to do A, B, C, D. We are protecting this. Because it's hard earned. Because it's for their country. But it's now the other way around. It's a sellout. You get my point. It's a sellout. So our people must be civically empowered in quite so many angles. Not only, if we economically empower our people, they will become the security, the vanguard to protect what they have. But what do you expect to somebody who has nothing to protect anything? What is he going to protect?
You're true.
It's like today in Uganda, you're talking about protecting the gains. How are you going to protect what you don't have? What? Yes, to protect what? You must have something. You must own something, and then you can be able to protect it. Yeah.
Well, Eddie, there's this question Yoris don't want to listen to, and there's the way Yoris pour water into it, and then you make it so dilute. But let me see if still it echoes in your world. How can international bodies or our partners support, support inclusive, peacefully? How can they come and then be in support peacefully in the political processes without overstepping our sovereignty?
That is impossible. It can never happen.
Is it a myth?
It's a myth. It can never happen. They can only do where they benefit, and they will leave you at a level where they will keep on benefiting. For example, why Gaddafi was murdered or was killed Libya was destabilized, it was not because he was a bad leader. He was not a good leader, a very good leader, but he was a good leader, not a very good leader, but he was a good leader. Because you could never find a Libyan in anywhere in any other country, staying in any other country. No. By the way, at that time, you could even never find the Egyptians anywhere.
True.
You couldn't find those people anywhere, you know. Now, but because Gaddafi came up with the issue of the African Union, to be the United States of Africa,
yeah,
that one scared them. So they said, look here, let's deal with this man as fast as possible. Because if Africa unites and becomes one, let me tell you something. Africa is very powerful. It's going to be the most powerful country in the world. We're going to rule the world. Now, these people don't want it. They want us to keep on fighting each other. They want the oil refineries. They don't want them to be in Africa. They decided the prices of the oil. They decide the prices of coffee, which coffee is produced in Africa. The gold, which is the minerals which are being gotten in Africa, they are being sold at the market here in Brussels at very high. That's where the market is, you know. So they will be missing all that. There is quite a lot they'll be missing from Africa. They're getting it cheaply and then getting it back to us. Africa, you know, it's business. So these countries cannot come in and say, look here, because they'll be failing themselves if they empowered Africa.
Should I say it's the same problem that is facing Sudan at the same time?
Absolutely, yes. The oil and the oil and the oil. Absolutely.
But what actually is part of what was really happening in Sudan then?
No, it's of course it's leadership, and these fellows who are first and foremost, they were not really very organized right from the very beginning when they were trying to take power. First and foremost, they thought they wanted to fight and take over the Muslims, which they couldn't do. So they divided them. And when they got together, now to them, instead of they've failed, they don't have, they didn't have a greater picture of the Sudan, the country they wanted to have.
They want to be.
And by the way, that also applies to Uganda. We are where we are because when they were in the bush, they did not have anything concrete. You know, they never had anything concrete because if they had anything concrete, let me tell you, bush generals would have been still alive and around. But how many bush generals do we have in Uganda right now?
There have been most of them eliminated or silenced.
So it's because that is the thing. So even here, this is what is happening in Sudan. In Sudan, these people, instead of they've not been able to internalize how they can manage their own society, they are busy focusing on grabbing the wealth that is in the country, and they're also being used by foreign forces. So the foreign forces are busy arming them, and they're busy taking away the wealth. That is exactly what is happening in Zaire, Congo. Congo will never stabilize because of its minerals. You know, but you never see. They never tell you. You hear these minerals are being sold. Rwanda is growing. Rwanda is growing. Do you know it's Congo's minerals that has grown Rwanda?
Yeah, it's quite sure, and then just believe at least you're picking something from whatever Eddie Pool is trying to say. And people who are with us alive, we really do appreciate it. Bwana Chigundu Charles, Sebo Tukutumira Konyo, we see you live, you're watching us. And then, yes, and the rest, keep on sharing and then leave a comment where need be and give us your opinion. Do you see yourself? Do you see, where do you see Africa? And yes, in some few years to come, after all these political tensions that are really happening in countries like Cameroon and Tanzania, is it a wake-up call for those who are still, enslaved? So We leave that there, but we shall cross over direct to Uganda, where we're seeing a lot which is really happening, and then we shall be calling it a wrap. Many people have been discussing what has been what Bobby Wine, aka Sentamu Kyagulanyi, he's traveled to the north, and then he went to respect the dead. That's the late Excellency, the late President, His Excellency President Milton Obote, on the burial grounds. At least he went there. A lot of checks were in there. People have different opinions. A lot of Baganda have different opinions. A lot of politicians have come up saying a lot of, different views on that line. And then we shall also cross over to Ikaramoja, where we saw a lot of things. But before we go into Eddie Cool's opinion, let's have a little reflection on exactly what happened on Bobby Wine's travel to in Karamoja, and basically exactly what people saw, and maybe it will give us another way of how to look at issues. Let's have a look at this. It will be, I guess it was in Uganda, maybe.
Zigenza okuwera ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya nga b'ebyokwerinda bayiddwa mungi ku wooteeri ya Rise and Shine esangibwa mu kibuga Kotido. Pulezidenti w'ekibiina ki National Platform Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yasuze, wabula kino kirobedde bawagizi be mu kibuga kino keera okweyiwa ku wooteeri eno nga baagala okumwerolerako. Ekimu ku biraga embeera ey'obuyinike abantu b'e Karamoja gye bawangaliramu bwe bwavu, era ng'omuze gw'okusabiza tebakoma gukolera ku nguudo z'e Kampala zokka. Neno mu bitundu gye bawangalira bangi be tulabye nga basabiriza.
Jeremy, can you lock the door?
Kyova olaba nange nkwatiddwako ennaku ng'omukatuliki ne ngamba akatini kensigazaamu kankabawe naye tebasobola kusabiriza ebbanga lyonna. Nze mbadde manyidde Kampala nti gye basabiriza.
Osanga omukyala kati waliwo awo omukyala gw'empaddeyo 1000 alina omwana talina kyakulya, kitegeera omutunuulira n'omusaasira. Obwavu bungi nnyo mu Karamoja, embeera mbi nzibu.
Naguze caayi wange n'omugaati kulya naye olw'embeera eriwo balaba bonna bayaayana basika, so obwavu bungi nnyo. Tutegedde okulaba nti at least neno bafaako ku bantu naye nga bali bubi nnyo. Bwakulaba ne bitana kulaba ng'alina akawumbi.
Betaaga enkyukakyuka, ensinga engagga naye abantu nga bankuseere kimalamu nnyo amaanyi.
Abamu ku betwogeddeko nabo batubulidde bibasoomooza, kyokka ng'ebisinga byetoloolera ku bbula lya mirimu.
A ghetto boy died. He died in the street. No one helped. Whether I put you in RM, I'm in the party of Bobby, as you see me like this. You know, when I was given this t-shirt freely, that's what I'm telling you. But you help the street. Ghetto boys are dying in the street.
You bring beaten people. Tear gas is there. What is there? But you, it's something that shocking. You got the friend and baby wine. Oh yeah, me, I'm sleeping in the corridor.
Wabaleta nasimbula kuva Kotido okugenda e Kabong. Asoose kwevumba kafubo n'abakulembeze b'ekibiina ki NUP mu Karamoja n'abasaba okuyimirira ku magulu gaabwe bagaane ebyo byonna ebibanyigiriza.
Let our people understand. Let our people connect with us. Let them know that this matter now is for Karamoja. It is their plight. But while they fight for Karamoja, let them know that they have friends and brothers and sisters across the country.
Yekokodde minisita wa ssemateeka n'essiga eddamu zino Batimawo akyalemesezza ekibiina okufuna ensimbi ekiba nga mu kiseera kino tekirina nsimbi ziddukanya mirimu ekiba nga kiyimiriddewo ku bugabizi bwa bannayuganda.
We are supposed to have money because we are, according to the constitution, the official position. But the money that we are receiving, Museveni used Batimawo to cut it off using iPod. You heard that. So now we are surviving on handouts from Ugandans. They buy for us fuel, we dedicate ourselves, we move from place to place. However, we are struggling to make ends meet.
Newankubadde aluddewo okufuluma baluddewo nga bamulindiridde era agenza okufuluma nga kubo kwakuba amaaso bo batu ne bakuba enduba ey'oluleekereeke. Okuvira ddala mu disitulikiti y'e Kotido okutuuka e Kabongo, luno lwe luguudo olukulu olulutwalayo, wabula embeera gye lulimu ekaabya amaziga olw'enkuba buli weetonnya ne lujjula lwonna amazzi. Atuuseko wano ku kyalo Yerusalemu ekisangibwa e Kabongo n'akungubagira omu ku bali abawagizi b'ekibiina kino agambibwa okuba nti yakubwa amasasi agasoba mu 100.
Our brother Lochoto is gone. But for us, we are still alive. This is a very high price to pay for freedom.
Kyagulanyi akabuga k'e Kabongo akayingiddemu ku ssaawa 9:30 ez'akawungeezi n'asanga nga nnamungi w'omuntu yamulindiridde dda bwe kati akadoli ne kalamula.
A message of giving you the power over what belongs to you so that it can benefit you and your children. When you vote for us, you will be voting for leaders who are going to be your servants and not your bosses. Our pain is the same as yours. We are in the same generation. We have the same thoughts. We have the same desires. And we can put these plans together, me and you, all of us, all the young people of Uganda. It is possible.
Olunaku olw'ekyo Kyagulanyi wakubeera mu disitulikiti y'e Kitgum akomekereze n'elaamu.
Yes, Bwana Eddie, that was kind of a summary of what exactly happened in the Karamoja, where for him, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, claimed that his wife has done a great work, having accepted to be the Minister of Karamoja, that she did a lot of work. Anita Monk, in one of the clips, he came out assuring Ugandans that, yes, Karamoja is really developing and developed. So, based on that clip, we ending up when Bobby Wine says that there is a high price for freedom. Mr. Eddie Cool, starting from where we started from, what is the significance of Bobby Wine going to give respect to the day he was buried in the late Milton Obote. I'm forgetting the place where he was buried.
No, simply call him the father of the nation.
The father of the nation, basically.
What's wrong with that?
Okay. I was looking for more, maybe some other synonyms.
We need to, the problem we have is that we have with our leaders. When they come in, they want to wash away all the good deeds the other leader did. Just like now we have Museveni. When we go, some other leader will come and wash away every good thing he did. Museveni has done. Museveni has done some good things in Uganda.
True, yeah.
But when another leader will come, they will just wash them away. Obote was a very, very good leader. He did quite a number of things. But it was my OB in Mweri.
Same class? Oh.
Same class, yes.
Because I'm worried. I thought now I'm always hosting an ancestor.
I started from the same school with him. Meaning I went through some places that he went through.
I thought he was a classmate. So I was wondering if I was hosting an ancestor here.
No. Obote did quite a number of so many good things. Of course, as a leader, there are some other things that he did.
Challenges you encounter. Yeah.
Call them that. Now, I saw myopic people. Let me call them myopic. I was going to use another word, but which word I wouldn't want to use because I would call them fools. Bobby Wine is not standing as a president for Uganda. He's standing as a Ugandan president. And if he's going to stand as a president of Uganda, he must unite the country. He must appreciate the works that did by past leaders, unlike this man here who calls them swine all the time. Forgetting that it's even Milton Obote who managed to get him school to go and study in Tanzania. Without Milton Obote, Museveni would not have been anywhere in Tanzania to go and study and get to the education he got. Now, for Bobi Wine to go and pay respect, that was the best thing he did. Not only for, and the Baganda should be the most happiest people because you're like barring the market. Absolutely. That we don't even know where they started from. We were not part of those ones. Why should we inherit them? I salute Bobi Wine. He's very smart. What he did was the right thing to do. But I can see Baganda, so many Baganda talking. It's because, sorry to say this, some of them are myopic. They're not that informed, you know. Others, yes. Because if you need to think logically, the other one is a foreign president and he has a big following.
It's true,
you know,
yeah.
And he did a lot of things. Even some of the roads we use in Uganda, they were constructed during his time. Should we erase them away? No, we should put them away. Should we do that? The hospitals we are going to, he even said it himself. Bobi Wine was saying these hospitals were built by Milton Obote. So should we not? Then why don't we stop going to those hospitals? Because they are built by Milton Obote. Bobi Wine did the smartest thing. It was a national. He did it as a nationalist, and I salute him for that. He scored highly.
Then, as a politician,
he scored highly. I'm telling you, he scored highly. And by going to talk to his brother Akena and saying, my brother Akena, and we were talking. Who knows, that man, Bobi Wine, tomorrow could put up a unitary government if he's given power. The way I see things. You know? Don't look at that Bobi Wine when he gets power. You'll be surprised who are going to be his ministers. Some of them are not even close to him around here. He has people.
That's the thing.
Yes, you don't do to be his ministers. You'll be very surprised. You know, you'll be surprised who's going to be his vice president. He's been talking to PFF. He's been talking to NT. He's been talking to different political parties, including UPC. You know, so if he has to go to Lango, he has to pay respect. He had to pay respect to the foreign leader. Forget about who calls him swine. He calls a swine who built the hospitals. How many hospitals has this anti-swine built? You know, Bobi Wine scored highly, and what he did was very, very good. I applaud him for that. I didn't write it in my column on Facebook as I normally do, because I was going to hit so many of my friends, Baganda friends. I was going to tell them off. Because I was not. There are some things you look at that some of these fellows are just like kindergarten. The minds like kindergarten. Buganda. Obote, no. Look here, we are talking about Uganda. And Obote was the president of Uganda. At the time of getting the independence, it was Obote who held it at that time. They were the people who were around. Now, if it's like we are saying Uganda is starting today or started after Obote. Just like some other man from Rwakitula who thinks Uganda is his and he started with Uganda, he must end with Uganda. You know? So what Bobi Wine did, I was so humbled, I was so touched, far away, but I supported him and I'm supporting him on him. And by the way, I support his message of unity. You know, that message is a very strong message. Wherever he goes, he's preaching that message of unity. You know, and he's telling people facts that look here, we are rich, we have A, B, C, D, and Z. Let's work together. He's telling them not to fight for him. Look here, he's saying, you are not fighting for me, you are fighting for yourselves. To change the environment you are in, to change for yourself. Not me. Me, I'm just here. It could be you tomorrow standing here to do that. He's empowering the people. If he had been given time, like to allow political parties to run effectively, let me tell you something. It would have been a tsunami. Because yes, it would have been a tsunami. These people who are coming to Bobby Wine's rallies, they are coming because they have a problem that they want a problem to be addressed. That's why they are following him in masses. To listen, very hungry. They even walk. You know? They walk. Those who are going to see NRM and Museveni's camp or whatever, they are going there for money. Because they are going to give us some money, they're going to give us some food. And you don't blame them to go. It's just like those whom now they are recruiting to go, that they are going to work for NRM to look for votes. They are going there for money, not for anything. Don't give them money.
Take us, what did you see Bobi Wine's campaigns in Karamoja? What really came to your mind?
No, Karamoja must be liberated. There's a lot of thuggery going on. That's what came to my mind. Because Karamoja has a lot of wealth. And having such a poor infrastructure, when there's a lot of wealth there, it's very, very painful. So, I want to tell you that Bobi Wine's campaigns are exposing the rot in Uganda. They're exposing the problems in Uganda. And this is why they don't want politicians to move around to go and talk about these issues. They don't want him to go to particular places because he is trying to create awareness to the people. Nobody has ever told the people in some of the people in Karamoja know they have some things there, but they didn't know that they own them. They can own them. They can benefit from those things, from the wealth that they have. You know, so he's going to Karamoja. And by the way, you know what they did when Bobi Wine came? The soldiers there went and they cooked some food and porridge or whatever. They called most of those people to go and drink porridge. So they didn't want them to come out. Yes, they didn't want them to come out to see Bobi Wine. You know? For me, I'm in for change. I know there are so many challenges. Bobi Wine is not is not a Superman. He's a human being just like any other who needs support. You know, just like you asked me a question that, look here, what do you need for Africa to stabilize so that they can live a normal life? What should we do? So Bobi Wine must also be helped to be guided and say, look here, you're doing A, B, C, D, and Z, but there are limits. There are certain things you can't go. Right now, the speeches and the words he's talking about, that's not his age, but because he's been getting support from other elderly people, elderly politicians, telling them, look here, don't talk about this, talk about that, talk about this, talk about that. This way, his message is the best message I've ever had. Kizza Besigye was my president, but to him, his message and Bobi Wine's message, they have a likeliness, but Bobi Wine's message is to get far ahead. You know, it has superseded. It is far ahead. You know, actually, they would be running mates. They would be running together if there was Besigye and Bobi Wine. Mostly, there's Besigye, Bobi Wine, Muntu. Then there's this other guy. This other guy also who is running alone. Those would be the people running around to talk about presidency. So,
Bwana Ediku,
there is he has he has his message is a message of awareness, awakening the people. So when he was there, of course, he saw the poverty, the fatigue, the roads, infrastructure, and whatever. They have no hospitals, and he's emphasized this. He is talking about this. He's telling people, look here, this is not what you need to guard. You must stay away from this.
Bwana Ediku, does Uganda really need the ministry of Karamoja?
You asked me a question whether you're really asking me you've asked me a very, very serious question whether Uganda needs the ministry of Karamoja.
Yeah, because based on ever since it has been created, if you look at the roads right now, if you look at those roads that they are in Karamoja, they're impossible. And this is a ministry that has been created years back. My question is, do we still need the ministry of Karamoja? And what was literally its purpose?
Its purpose was Karamoja did not need, we don't need a ministry for Karamoja. Because if we need a ministry for Karamoja, we need a ministry for every region. You know? And then that, yes, we need a minister for every region. Just as I think we need a president for every region. You know? That's what we were saying. But the reason it was created specifically to go and loot whatever is in Karamoja. Silently. I'm not going to mince words about that. Yes, it's better to go and loot what was there, not to develop it. You know, what impact has it done? How much money? A lot of money has been given to them. The first lady, Museveni's wife, used to go there with a chopper to go to Karamoja. That's a lot of money. Going with a chopper and going with the bodyguards, army men, whatever, so many with protecting her. To go there and to do what, by the way? To go and oversee the loot. You know, it's about looting, and people are talking about it. You know, this is why the media is trying to be being gagged somewhere, because they are speaking out the truth. So Karamoja does not need a minister. Karamoja falls under Uganda, and if Uganda has a minister, the minister is responsible for development. So every area should be developing equally. But you see, because Museveni is running things his own way. By the way, you're talking about Karamoja having a minister. Do we even need to have ministers? That would have been the first question, I think. Because these ministers are useless. They're doing nothing. Or both, whatever. The one of defense. One time he comes to parliament, they asked him what is going on. Why is they deploying our forces, I don't know, in Sudan? He says, I don't know. He say, but how? That's what he said, I don't know. And he said, we cannot deploy them before we come to parliament to talk about it. We can't. We've not even sat into any discussions about it. Then the CDF comes and says, that one knows nothing. Does he speak for us? That's what the CDF, who is meant to be under the minister, said. So that tells you the minister is useless. They call them to go to parliament to go and account for their budget, explain their budget. They called the CDF. He refused to come. He just sent and they told the minister, go and tell your CDF to come. But that man, that one is his boss. That one is one ministry, one example. Another one, of course, the finance is typically the president. That is very obvious. Local government is also in State House. This other guy just implements what is there. Every ministry, whatever is there. Does Kampala need to have a minister? And what is the minister of Kampala doing? But because Museveni wanted, to bully Lukwago and to bully the opposition. And he has said openly. But does Kampala require a minister? And what is this minister doing when a disaster is befalling people in Kampala? People are building, constructing people are dying in Kitezi. People are, look at those questions.
Yes, to the viewers, that has been kind of a submission from Eddie Cool. But let's just have a little commercial break and then we come back with one question and then we call it a wrap. Let's just have a commercial break and then we have one question and then we call it a wrap.
Of Uganda is an institute designed to prepare students for rewarding careers in the vibrant hospitality industry. Copenhagen International Institute of Catering and Hotel Management is here to provide a solid foundation for Ugandans in catering, hotel management, knowledge and skills required to excel in various hospitality sectors. Our courses are designed by industry professionals to ensure that students learn from the best to create well-rounded graduates. We offer practical training and internships to students using state-of-the-art equipment which is used all over the world to prepare our learners for jobs both locally and internationally. We are located in Kisasi on Bahai Road, 8.7 kilometers from Kampala city center. Copenhagen International Institute of Catering and Hotel Management.
Yes, at least the institution there for it survived the floods which were in Kampala. So at least it's a plus when it comes to our brothers who are in the diaspora who are doing something better. Actually, I really feel sorry for our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora who have invested a lot in Kampala and then they've been affected by such a mess created by, mankind. But it's really absurd. But that was Copenhagen management institution, which is really good. And it's empowering people, like I always say, it's empowering people with the wisdom, education, and also giving, source of employment to those who are part of the institution. Yes, as we come to a conclusion, to those who have not missed whatever has been shared, we've just been looking at the crosswinds of change, political tensions, and electoral dynamics in Africa at large. And a case study has been basically Tanzania, looking at Uganda, looking at Sudan, and also reflection from Cameroon. Not also leaving out the disaster that really happened in Jamaica, where Hurricane Melissa, the tsunami really happened, causing and claiming, lives and properties of people in the Jamaican. But that said, those who've just come in, it's African reports and just looking at the political lenses. But I would just love to give one last question to one Eddie Cool, and then later he give us his parting shots. Yes, Eddie. All that said, across all over Africa and based on our discussion, how do these basically the independent institutions like the courts, electoral commissions, the anti-corruption bodies, and all those bodies, all those independent institutions, really, how are they perceived and in functioning in differently across Africa?
No, those ones to be. Let me simplify it this way. Those are just blindfolders. They don't function. They only function at the whims of the dictators. They are not doing the job that they are meant to do. Because if they are doing what they have to do, then we wouldn't be having these problems like what we have in Tanzania right now. Like what we are looking at is in Uganda today, where a judge, somebody says, look at this, a judge refuses to recuse himself from the case when he really knows that the suspect has fears that is not going to get fair judgment. When some people stay into prison for years without coming to court, so you find it's very painful. These are people like the heads of the courts, like the chief judge in Uganda, for example, is handpicked by the president. is called and they told what to do. And good enough, Bobby Wine talked about it. You know, they tell them they don't give people bail. And he also says, okay, they're not giving people bail, but people are meant to get mandatory bail. How does somebody stay in prison for over 20 years without going to court?
It's quite alarming.
Yeah, very alarming. We have so those ones, they were killed. The three arms, what we would call the three arms of governments, were killed. They're not there. And especially, let me be very specific with Uganda, where I come from, and that I know very well. We don't have a parliament. That one is just a shadow, something there to blindfold us that we have representatives. What do they represent us? Which bill have they ever passed in the interest of Ugandans?
So the legislature,
you know,
is completely dead.
No, it's dead. It's not there. It's shambolic.
Judiciary.
They don't even talk about the judiciary. The judiciary is not there either. They act to the whims of the president. He even calls them, say, don't do this, do that, they even go and arrest people in courts. How do they arrest somebody when in the parameters of the court? You remember some time back, there were some guys who went there. They called them black mambas who went to court and grabbed the suspects there. You know, here is a court where a judge says somebody, they know somebody was abducted from Kenya and is in court. I'm talking about Kizza Besigye, and brought. He's been in military detention for some time. Then later, yes, and then here a judge says, "Me, I don't," and he even reads everything. He has all the information. Then he says, "No, all I know, you were brought to court from Nakawa court and on this date." When he has all the information, this is why Besigye told him is grossly incompetent or biased, because he can't read. If you can't read, then you can't even be a judge. But do you think he did that deliberately? He did it deliberately because he's getting orders that on what to do.
What to say.
Yes, this is why you see simple cases, cases which are not even there. They are busy remanding and looking up people. Look at these boys of Noop, the politicians who are being
Does this also reflect exactly what happened to Cameroon opposition leaders and Tanzania opposition leaders?
Yes, this is happening everywhere in Africa. That's what is happening. Kizza Besigye has been arrested so many times. Which case has ever been prosecuted? I want you to tell me that he was convicted of a particular offense.
None.
But how many times has he been arrested?
He's the most actually arrested person ever.
you know, so it's are you telling me the judiciary is working? So we need to
you belittled all the institutions, the media, the fourth arms of government, the media. Now, if I only ask about the electoral commissions across African continent, I doubt whether you'll give me a positive answer.
No, they are the same. They are the same. They are not independent.
Well, given that,
here we are meant to have independent electoral commissions, but they are handpicked by the presidents. They don't have powers. You know, in most countries, that's what it is. Here, this lady, the one they call her Owekizigo, Anita Mong. This woman said it in parliament. He was like, he told, it was about the coffee bill. Then he said it, and she didn't know, she was overheard, because I also heard it when the parliament was sitting. She said, make sure these Ugandas don't have numbers. And she's presiding. She was the one presiding over. Say, make sure these Ugandans don't have numbers. You know? Now, at least some others, like Kadaga, like Wapakabulo and others, they had some decorum, the way they could do things. Not in the open like that. They could go and they do them backward, behind. They come and say, please, when you go there, do this. You know? And do you know, let me tell you this, people don't know. Do you know the first time these guys raided the parliament when Rebecca Kadaga was presiding over? You remember?
I remember well, yeah.
She had told Museveni off that no, I'm not going to do anything. This thing can't go through. Then Museveni warned her, he said, I have the army. He said, no, this thing can't go through. And she was ready not to take it through. Not until those guys came in. So she felt she was overpowered. But people don't know that. This other one, they work with her. She is everything. She's yes. And then you say we have a parliament, debate on the things, when they are just passing things the way they have to.
Well, time has never been on our side. It has been really so much. A lot has been left out, yet a lot has been at least handled. Yes, but to those who have been with us, I'll just say thank you very much. Those people online and then on our different platforms, Afro-Day Reports, YouTube, you go also Afro-Day Reports, also on Facebook, we shall be there. Yes, I'll say thank you for being with us into this ride as we cross over, the winds of change in these political lenses. With my guest, Eddie Cool, I would love you to give us your parting shots, and then at least we'll call it a wrap, and then as we embrace the new week. Yes, Bwana Eddie Cool, give us your parting shots and say goodbye to our viewers, and then you wish them also a great week.
No, I want to call upon the Ugandans to wake up, to own up, to love their country. Uganda is ours. We'll never have a country like Uganda. And we must fight for whatever is ours. Let's unite. Let's not look at ourselves as if others are better than others. We are all equal in Uganda. We must understand what exactly is going on. We don't have a country apparently. The country is being taken away from us because we can't participate freely and enjoy whatever is ours. Because if Uganda was ours, right now, whatever is going on, like the floods, the killing of the people, the dying of people in hospitals, Karamoja, the roads, everything, taking our children going to the Middle East to go and do hard labor, to become like slaves, because the Middle East Arabs, they mistreat our people. Our people wouldn't be going there if the country was being well managed. When we call for change, and especially me when I talk about change, let's not look for change of guards just to change Museveni and his people. No, let's try to change the way we are led, the way things are done. We want to be led, to be governed and led as Ugandans. If Museveni can do that, then he will have won everything hands down. If he can change, he can make a 360 like this very program, and change things all through. I'm telling you, Museveni will have given Uganda a very, very big gift, because he has been around, he has enjoyed himself, and Ugandans are very good people. They've not given him much.
They've been patient enough.
Ugandans have been very patient enough. The only thing we do is to do a 360 and change our turnaround and give Uganda back to Ugandans. And he can do that if he really thinks about it. But for the rest of Ugandans, we know Museveni can't do that. Let's fight hard, share information as we can, say anything, give support to whatever we can. Bobby Wine is right now is the vanguard. He's not championing amongst all the political leaders, challengers. He's the strongest. He has a party which is strong. He has the biggest party in the opposition party, and he has a vision. He brought up a manifesto. Which manifesto we can't say it's 100%, but we can work with that. Let's support him. Let's call our people. Let's echo his message of change. Let's echo his message of unity, to tell Ugandans to unite. And let's echo his message of not fearing anybody. Because if we keep on fearing, then fearing from talking, because by the way, when you talk to anybody in Uganda, they don't want to talk about things, because they are picking people silently. By the way, this message is to Ugandans. You must stop looking on when they are picking others. When you see a vehicle coming to pick somebody, those drones and whatever, go in and fight for that very person right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. I don't see a reason why our people don't go and fight to safeguard those people right now. They let these people do it with impunity. Because if they want to arrest anybody has done an offense, they can call that person. There's the way someone that person. They should.
So they should pick a lead from Tanzania.
Yes, they should pick. They should really stop it right now. Not even tomorrow. Not even after elections, because it's ongoing. They look at somebody. They come and pick one by one, one by one. But how will this end? And there's some people they pick. Some of them are never seen again. Where is Mugumia? Nobody can know where Sam is. You know, and it's quite a number of others. There's the Banadas. There's and so many others. The Nupu boys who disappeared, and girls. Nobody has ever seen them. But let me tell you, these fellows, they come only in numbers, about 10 or 5, whatever it is. In a small community like this, put up barricades, arrest them, fight back, refuse, tell them you're not taking this person. We want to know, why are you taking this person? Because we know if they need to arrest somebody, by the way, it's in the law. They should go, if they're picking anybody, they should go and talk to the LC1 chairman. LC1 chairperson is the one, they arrest somebody with the knowledge of the LC1 chairperson, that this person is being arrested. But these guys are behaving like thugs. You know? They're behaving like thugs. And we are leaving them to do that. Yeah? The problem is we are leaving them to do that. Otherwise, the Ugandans will come out and say, no, you're not taking this person. We want to know why are you taking him. They're not going to kill everybody who is around. After all, those fellows with guns, there are very few of them. You know, you can disarm them. You can disarm them. You know.
That's it.
And that is very possible. You know, that is very possible, because if it happens and people get to see that it can be done, I'm telling you, they will change tactic. You know, they would
allow me to change tactic, Bwana Eddie Cool. Time has never been on our side. We're almost in 2 hours. Then I believe we shall have more into a continuity in the next episode very soon, because a lot really is happening, and we don't know exactly what might come even tomorrow. We may find ourselves also coming back tomorrow. So keep tuned with us with AfroDem Reports, because a lot is really happening, and we feel we need to share, and then getting our opinion. We believe also we are doing something, you know, an impact to our society. That's why we believe in on AfroDem Reports that sharing is caring. But then again, this is an impact felt by a two-way traffic. By sharing your opinion, leaving your comments, we'll be doing a lot of justice to us. So that aside, it has been a show. We've been looking at the political lenses on the AfroDem Reports, and that topic of discussion was just looking at, you know, the crosswinds of change in these political tensions and the electoral dynamics of Africa. And key points, key areas was specifically Uganda, Cameroon, Tanzania, Sudan, and then also looking at also the disasters that happened. But those who have been with us, I'll just say it's a big thank you. And I always love to thank this gentleman here. He sacrifices his time, and then he says, let's share some notice. I always disturb him that, hey, brother, this and this and this happens. What's your take? So please just keep on following him on his social media handles. On Facebook, it's called Eddie Kulungobi. On TikTok, I think he shares the same, Eddie Kulungobi. If he has more other platform, social media handles, please just share them. At least people can go on and then at least share wisdom. So, any other social media handles you have?
No, I have WhatsApp, though I don't use it for.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah, but I normally use. I have X, but X I've not been using it so much because of there's somebody there who abuses people. He writes a lot of things, and I could be tempted to answer back or throw back. So what I do, I just had to.
So are you worried of Balaam and Muhoozi?
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to. You know,
we wouldn't love to annoy Bwana Edipool with these people, but keep following him. And the big Bwana Edi.
You would tell them off. You'd tell them off, and people because they're a nuisance, you know, and they think they own things. They think nobody else is around. So I don't want to go into there.
That will be another topic of discussion on how people misuse social media handles given their, position in administration or position in power. So, but that said, it has been a wrap. We've been looking at political lenses on African Reports. I've been your host, aka Smoggy, and let's come back in the next episode this week, probably, or next week, and then we see what we'll be having. But keep on the discussion by leaving your comments. Bye-bye for now, and we wish you the best of a great week. Just a reminder, only 1 month and 29 days remaining, which means 59 days remaining, and then the year will have gone. But the question I always leave, are you still aligned with what you promised yourself this year? My answer is as good as yours. Goodbye for now. We meet in the next episode.
Kukwata kumukono na kuyimsa yakuyamba baba nabako wakutuze era nzize kwebazawo bangwite kusima eri abalina emitima egirumirirwa yakuyamba baba nabako wakutuza ekigambo okuyamba ndo kizanyisa abangi babeera n'obusobozi n'ekibalema okukola yakuyamba